What's good, you guys? Daniel Cruz here with Cook with Cruz. We just recently had the release of a new record I produced for Devvon Terrell. That would be #1. Song is out everywhere on all platforms. Of course, as always, I'll leave some links for you in the description if you haven't heard the song already. And of course, if you're familiar with my series, you already know me and him do a lot of work together. So it's good for me to come back and go back and break down these beats so we can see how they became into their final form of a song. If you also watched a couple episodes back when I went over Mozzie's I'm a Gangsta, you'll note that that beat that I made was today about like 5 years old, but back when I first made it to the time it got placed, it was like a 2-3 year old beat. This beat here is another good example. I made this one in 2016 and it just released, so this beat is about 3 years old. So again, if you missed my topic or discussion about just not throwing away your old beats or whatever, you never know when they can become a dope song. So anyways, let's jump into it and see how #1 by Devvon Terrell is made. So starting off, the main melody or the chord progression is pretty much what drives the whole record here. Actually, coming back and opening up this project file, this melody is iconic to me. I might actually go back and reflip my own chord progression and melody here because I like it that much. I think it's that dope. So, but looking in here to see what patch we are using, we got Absinthe 5. I think this was roughly around the time that I got Absinthe. It came with the complete package or whatever. I don't know why I don't go back to it. I'm sure it's got some really dope sounds, but the sound for this beat was crazy and I definitely had to use it. So for our main melody, again, Absinthe 5, we got the Absinthe harp preset. And if you look into our EQ here, we did some crazy stuff here to cut out all this. Looks like some low mids. Some more, cut out all the lows, low mids. We got a tremolator preset on here. It's very subtle, you can't really tell. Guitar rig, Atmo guitar preset. I'm assuming that's what JIT means. So that's how I achieved the sound for the patch. Let's take a look at our melody now. So there goes our melody chord progression. Again, looking back, that's a crazy melody to me. So after that, behind our melody, I got a little vocal sample that plays repetitively in the background. Something super simple. Next up, we're going to have our bass dab come in. I did a little something interesting with the bass dab. Let's look, and I got Vicious Moog and Omnisphere, and then I also layered it with Bad Booty Bass. So I layered these two bass patches together to get the sound that I wanted, and also for the purpose of me demonstrating the bass for you, I got the layer plugin here to layer them both together, so when I play them on the keyboard, they'll both play at the same time. So here goes our bass dab. So with those 3 instruments layered up, that's going to be our intro for the song, and then we're just going to have those same 3 instruments play throughout the verse here. So I don't really add anything melodically, but here's where the drums come in, and I'll go over those now. Start with our clap here, kick, little percussion, tambourine, open hat, very simple drums, but they work well. R&B track, keep it very open. Here's what it sounds like going into the drop of our verse. just going to repeat for the whole verse there for the song. And after that, we're going to go into our pre-hook where I cut pretty much everything out. Let's start with our first instrument here. It's the Alicia Keys piano in Contact. Mind you, this was before I had Keyscape, and the Alicia Keys, any type of piano from Contact was pretty much the go-to piano. So we got the Alicia Keys piano, very dope piano here. But coming into the mixer here, I threw on guitar rig onto our piano, so it's not really going to sound like a piano anymore. Tweed, Delight, Sleep Delay, I'm assuming that says. And EQ, we're going to cut out everything below 200 hertz here. All I wanted to do for this pre-hook was just lay down and sustain our main chords, just to leave it very open for the artist. Next thing I wanted was some sustained bass to go with our chords. Pulled up good old green Taurus bass here. So our pre-hook is coming along nice. I do, however, keep our little vocal sample in here. I believe that plays throughout the entire beat. Percussive wise, I'm going to keep our little tom percussion that played during our verse. I'm also going to add a drum loop in here as well. And for our drum loop, I'm pretty much going to filter it out. I got a flanger on it, a low pass filter, and some EQ cutting out about 60 hertz and under. I also stretch it out a bit so I get the tone that I want from it. So here's the percussion that I add in the pre-hook here. Last but not least, I'm going to add a lead to our pre-hook. I don't add leads too often, especially on R&B tracks, because they're so intrusive in the melodic space of the artist. But I made sure that this melody was really subtle. Coming in here, if you actually look, I use green Taurus bass as a lead here. I just use the high keys onto it. And with that, in the mixer, we got Decapitator, Mid Driver Preset, Ambience, which is a reverb plugin that I used to use, but Ambience doesn't make 64-bit versions of their own plugin. I'm running a 64-bit system, so a lot of times this plugin will crash. I'm actually surprised it's working right now. So this is something I pretty much used on every beat back in the day, but I don't anymore. Again, because it's just a 32-bit plugin, I need the 64-bit. And in addition to our ambience, fruity flanges. So here's what our lead sounds like. Again, it's going to be pretty subtle for our pre-hook. So right after the end of that lead, this is where the big part of the hook of number 1 comes in. We're going to cut out the lead and the bass from the pre-hook, and we're going to take our main piano keys and bring those over into the hook now. Our main melody from the verse is going to come back in, bass stab, all of our bass drums. The only thing new that I introduced to the hook here is an 808 and a closed hat pattern. So here's our 808. Just gonna go along with our root notes there, and then here's our hi-hat pattern to add a little bit more energy. So now I'll play it going into the hook, and you'll notice on the second half of the hook I kind of use as a post. I drop out a lot of things, as you'll see. I'm not adding anything new or anything. You'll just see on the playlist here I drop a lot of stuff out just to kind of calm the song back down to get ready to jump into the second verse. So here's what it all sounds like right here. full breakdown to Devvon Terrell's #1 record. Really hoped you guys enjoyed today's episode. As always, I will leave links in the description to the final song for you to check out. I hope this video helped and inspired you. I know this definitely inspired me to actually go back and just kind of play around with my chord progression that I made a few years ago there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not, because I will be back again next Sunday breaking down another beat for you guys. I appreciate you if you made it to the end of this video, but that is all for me today. I will see you next Sunday. I'm out. Peace.